Perfect. We are live. We are live. What is up, everyone? How's it going? We will let some people file on in. Definitely a little bit later than we typically do the live streams. Like to do them around 6:30 Central-ish. But we just got done with a run with the dogs and cooled off in the pool. I was like, you know what? 7 o'clock is going to be a perfect time to do it. So let me know if y'all can hear me. Fill up the comment section, say what's up, and start firing some questions away, man. So the Tacoma has reached 7,000 miles. I think we got that truck, man, maybe a month and a half ago at this point. I can't remember the exact date that we got it. If I go into my photos here, maybe I can see like the date of when I got it. I think it was just a couple months ago. It's kind of crazy. It was before then. Didn't even have the truck then. Did we? I don't know. But letting some people come up. It's a little slow in the beginning, guys. Sorry. Just waiting for people to file on in and start asking some questions and stuff. Basically, if you guys are new to the live streams, what we do is you guys ask questions. We get a little bit behind on some questions here and there and stuff. But I try to give you guys all the time you guys deserve because you're taking time out of your night to hang out, have some fun. So I like to give you guys all the time that you deserve to when you guys ask the questions. So I see some photos of the Tacoma in the garage. What day was this? This is March 7th-ish. So April 7th into May. So we've had the truck for about 2 months. So we've had the Tacoma for about 2 months. And I am just absolutely killing that resale value with the mileage. But it's all good. So everyone's popping in. And the questions are starting to flow. Cordetti, how's it going? Says, hey, what's up, buddy? Chris is in here. Chris says, question, how's the new topper? Man, it is awesome. It's very, very cool. No wind noise with it at all. It was great driving from Arizona to Texas with it for the Toyota Jamboree because I was able to just like stack a whole bunch of stuff into the back of the Tacoma and just not worry about it. And it poured rain on me throughout that drive. Decent amount of space inside to really camp with the BAM beds too. So it was really awesome. Cordetti says, looks like you're really digging it. It's coming along nicely. It is. So we do have a couple more things to do with this Tacoma. I may or may not leave the roof rack on. I'm not really sure how I feel about the roof rack with the bed topper. And I don't plan on really putting anything on top of the roof. So it may just turn into kind of like a more sleek build with just the truck and the rock sliders and the bed rack. And then we will be putting on some new suspension soon. Some kind of not like high-end suspension, but very good suspension for going fast with the truck. That's what I really enjoy doing a lot with this Tacoma. It does great with the trails, like the slower rock crawling stuff and more articulation stuff. Everything out in Moab with that truck, it handled it very well. But I truly, truly enjoy going fast with the Tacoma. When we got out to the Toyota Jamboree, it was more of like a slippery kind of mud because it rained so much in Texas. It rained so much, and that like easy trails were like medium trails, and medium trails were like hard trails just because of how much it got rutted out. But the Tacoma, it handled it nicely. It is still in Dallas right now. This truck has not been home at all since I got it in March. But the truck is still in Dallas, and I'm picking it up soon. And then I will be heading again out west with the Tacoma to go to the Overland Expo. So if you guys are going to be at the Overland Expo, I'm not sure what dates yet, or I'm sorry, time yet. We're shooting for around noon to 2 or 1 to 3. I will be at GFC's booth with the truck. My booth cherry has been popped, and the truck will be at a booth in Overland Expo. I said that was one of my goals this year, was to have a truck at a booth at a show, and it happened. So GFC made it happen. and the truck will be on display for everyone at the Overland Expo, which is really cool. Mr. Sheep says, hello everyone, hope you're all having a good day. Hope you are too, Mr. Sheep. And if you guys want, just go ahead and leave a like on the live stream. That way all the subscribers know that it's going on. Tom says, on your road trip, did you find normal or eco yielded any appreciable MPG difference? Enjoy the channel. Appreciate it, Tom. To be completely honest, I forgot eco mode and sport mode exist in these new vehicles. Like, I'm so used, and I shouldn't say I'm used to it now, because I guess I've had more newer vehicles than I have had older Toyota vehicles, but I just leave the truck in normal. I didn't really mess with eco or sport or normal, so I just really left the truck in normal. Maybe on my drive to Dallas, from Dallas back out west with the truck, maybe I'll toy with it and put it in eco mode. We could see how that goes. For sure. When's the 5.7 Deon? Says, so if you guys follow me on Instagram, it's just TRDJohn, TRD.John on Instagram. YouTube got rid of the stories, and it was a fun way to like interact with people on YouTube. But I posted on there that I really want a 5.7 Tundra, 2019, Voodoo Blue. It'll come when it comes, man. I want to find a good priced one. A very clean one, and I feel like that would be a vehicle that I would have for a very long time. It would be like my 5th gen 4Runner. I feel like that would be a vehicle that I would have for a very long time. But in the interim, if you guys are interested in my Tundra, I mean, I will look to sell that Tundra pretty quickly. It won't be for a Tundra 5.7. It may be for something else, which people are going to lose their minds. All the people in the comments sometimes that say they hate me because I have a 4th gen Tacoma. If this plan goes the way I have it in my head, people are really going to hate me. So whatever, I don't care. Let the haters hate. Stefan says, what do you want from the Tacoma to filter back to the Tundra? For me, it's the tailgate button on both sides. 100% it's the tailgate button on both sides. USB-Cs on the inside, along with like the fast wireless or the fast charging. That has been very cool to have in the Tacoma. So like you have your wireless charger right here, and then you have 2 USB-Cs right next to it, and those are 45 watt high output fast charging stuff. It charges up my camera gear stupid fast. It charges up my phone stupid fast. Definitely the dual tailgate buttons, and also the automatic tailgate buttons or automatic tailgate would be a nice feature to have as well in the Tundra. It's one of those things like you don't really need it, but once it's there, like I've been messing with my Tundra the last couple of days I've been home, and first world problems, right? I had to open and close the tailgate. First off, I did try to press it on the passenger side because I was walking around the truck from the airport when my wife picked me up on the passenger side. I'm like, oh, it doesn't have a button. So I released the tailgate, and then it dampened down, put my bag in it, and then you lift the tailgate up. Whatever. I'm fully capable to do it. But the last month, I didn't have to do that. So it's just one of those things, like when you have it, it's nice. When you don't have it, you don't realize like how much you actually used it. Aside from that, man, there's not... maybe the how solid the truck is. That would be nice for Tundra to have too, because I did get back into my Tundra after being in that Tacoma for a month, man, and it's not as solid. It is not as solid as the Tacoma. Jacob says, hey, how are you? Danny Drives is up in here. How's it going, man? Ephraim, dude, I missed the lives. I know. I am home right now for like 24 more hours or something like that, or even less than that, actually. And it was Tuesday, so I had to get the live stream out for you guys. I will try to do a live stream next week, maybe at my parents', but their internet is not the best. So I may get a little bit more frustrated than it may be worth to try to do the internet or the live stream for you guys. Chris says, go Kings. Kings may be an option in the future, but my thing with Kings is like, not everyone runs them, but I mean, maybe it's a reason, right? Because they're really good. But I would rather showcase a new product and give people a significantly cheaper option for potentially like not the same performance, but just as good of performance when you're going dollar to performance ratio. If you guys have just joined in on the live stream, we're talking about suspension. The Tacoma will be getting new suspension in the future from a company that has been doing suspension forever overseas in the Outback. So those are just little hints. Still working out details with them, still working out logistics and everything. Was really hoping that the suspension would be on the truck for the Overland Expo just so people could see. But it may not be the case just because it's in like super prototyping stage right now. And that's actually with like the GFC topper on the truck. Like it's still a prototype topper, which is kind of wild that at least as of right now, to my knowledge, my Tacoma is the only Tacoma, this is weird to say, it's the only Tacoma in the world that has a GFC topper on it right now, which is kind of crazy because like it is a prototype. To my knowledge, I may be completely wrong. They may have done a couple other ones by now, but like to my knowledge, it's the only one in the world with that, which is pretty wild. Kyle says, hey John, was the back seat of the new 4Runner better, worse, or same as the 5th gen? Some reviewers say it got smaller. I don't honestly know. It felt the same to me. Like it feels the same as the Land Cruiser and the GX. Man, I don't know. I don't know. I can't tell you. I didn't think of that. It may be a little bit bigger just because the inside of the 4Runner has gotten just a tad bigger. Like this new 4Runner, we don't know interior dimensions yet, but this new 4Runner has grown both in width, length, wheelbase, and all that stuff than the outgoing model. Like it's 3 inches longer in the wheelbase, so I feel like that would attribute to like a little bit more seat space on the inside. So not really sure about the interior space. We're just gonna have to see when the actual numbers come out from Toyota, but like it doesn't feel much worse, I guess, than my 5th gen does. And like to be honest, like I don't sit in the back of my own 4Runner, so I don't really have a good idea of how that is. Corey Daddy says, what would you recommend the Westcott pre-collar kit for? AKA what type of driving, wheeling, is that lift good? So that lift is going to be good for mild off-roading and on-road wanting your truck to look better with like a little bit bigger of tires. So that is where the Westcott kit really shines. Anything more wild than like fire roads or, you know, some light like off-roading, you're gonna definitely want a full suspension kit. The amount of preload that you kind of lose on the front suspension, especially on the new Tacoma, at least for me, I can really feel like the front suspension like just dropping and hitting bump and not having like enough rebound a little bit faster. So the Westcott kit's great for those on a budget. Honestly, I ran it on my last Tundra. I did not off-road that Tundra at all, except for like some sandy stuff here in Florida. And it was great. It worked great for about the $500-600 I think that kit is. Like now at this point, I think it's around that price. But yeah, dude, it was pretty solid for that. Esteban says, what up, bro? Are you doing an install? Are you going to install a CarLink kit on your Tacoma? Thinking about putting one in mine soon to have the Trail Hunter. So I did this, Esteban, like way back when I got the, I say way back, it was 2 months ago. So my very first video that I got the Tacoma, you guys can go back to that, or if you want to, I showcased the CarLink kit in it and it works perfectly fine. I do need to get back to the company because I guess they have a new version of that kit. And maybe it's a little bit better. So if they do, it's definitely something that I will showcase for you guys here on the channel, or just more short form content kind of like that. Jimmy, everything is going good. Everyone, I appreciate you all stopping in right now, just answering questions. The road trip was very good with the Tacoma. The Tacoma is still in Dallas, Texas right now. Gonna be picking it up soon. Gonna get it aligned before I take it back out west. Going to Overland Expo with it. And then I may, at this point, be going a little bit up north to Northern California with it afterwards. And again, leaving it out in the West Coast. And then just more Tacoma stuff coming in the future. And also, since you guys, you 68 people right now are so awesome to take time out of your day, a new vehicle that I have ordered has landed. It has landed at the New York port, and it should, let me check my emails. I did not get an updated email. It should be in the driveway hopefully within the next couple weeks. Like when I return back from this next West Coast adventure, I may be whipping back into the driveway in a new vehicle that I'm super excited to share with you guys. If you guys watched some of my reviews videos recently, specifically one with Kirk Kreifels, you guys may know what vehicle I'm talking about. Blake says that I know it's not a Tacoma question, but did you switch to the Tier D red axles when I did the lift kit for the Tundra? So I did not yet. And it was something, Blake, that I kind of went back and forth about, like, should I do this? And for me, I don't think I'm going to do it anymore. I thought that I really needed to do that, but my buddy Nico, he has a Sequoia lifted on the same Dobinson suspension, 37-inch tires as well, and he has wheeled the absolute crap out of that truck, and nothing has really happened yet for him for his front suspension at least. He did break a link at Toyota Jamboree, but aside from that, like, his front suspension has been fine. So now he, though, is looking to get the Tier D axles up front because he does put his truck in a lot of kind of articulation bits where the front maybe dropped down a lot more. So he is looking to get the Tier D axles, but for me, for my Tundra, that thing is so long. I am not going to go any crazy off-roading with it to where the front tires are going to be like this and the rear tires are going to be like, I'm not going to do that with this truck. The most it's going to see is like, which it has, I put it in four-wheel drive to pull the boat out of the boat ramp. If I need to put it in four-wheel drive, like if it's ever in sand or something like that, that is really the only time that truck will go into four-wheel drive. I did not buy that truck to like really off-road it. So from what I've researched, if you're not putting any stress and binding on the four-wheel drive system, if it's just literally to be in four-wheel drive on flat surfaces, I should be good. Knock on wood. I should be good. So I'm not going to put the red axles on my Tundra. Jamie says, honest thoughts on the turbo 4-cylinder for longevity. Any overheating issues since modification? So I personally have not had any overheating issues. I have kept the gauges kind of still on the screen. And I mean, it doesn't tell you the actual temp on the Tacoma, but it never, so like Ghosted TRD, Jace, he has had issues with his truck getting hot for some reason. Now, he's running 35-inch tires, E-load rated tires. He has a huge roof rack on it. He has a massive rooftop tent on the back. So like, I don't know if that's just too much for the truck. That's a lot of weight regardless, even on like a 6-cylinder Tacoma. Like, E-load rated tires on these mid-sized trucks is just kind of wild. That's why I went with a 6-ply on my Tacoma. And they've done fine. There was actually a chunk taken out of the driver's tire, and the sidewall is still good. There's no cord showing, no nothing. So me personally, like, I haven't had any issues with mine overheating. And longevity, that's just going to take time. That's going to take time. It's going to take people really putting these trucks through their paces. I mean, I know what Toyota did with these trucks for all their R&D, right? But it's always different once trucks get out into the masses with legitimate real world testing day in and day out with these trucks. So I know that when they, test these trucks and they put their engine, Sheldon Brown literally told me, like, they run an engine like completely sideways and like just max RPMs, like just trying to get these trucks to fail. Like, engineering wise, that's why I just love all the YouTube engineers. It's so funny. But like, they try to make these trucks fail over and over and over again. And so it's frustrating for us, like, as a consumers, right? When we get a production truck and like something fails, we're like, what the heck, guys? Didn't you test this truck out? But some stuff, slips through the cracks a little bit, or that's probably the wrong phrase, or just when you go into mass production, because a lot of those prototypes are kind of like hand built to an extent, at least from what I know. And if there's a Toyota person in here, they can comment and say, John, you're completely wrong. But it you're always allowing for a little bit of a margin of error when you're going into mass production for vehicles, if that makes sense. So they try to make these trucks fail as much as possible to find all the weak links and stuff in it, and then ultimately, you know, unfortunately, the first couple years that the trucks are out, like, we are the guinea pigs, right? When TFL's either diff or axle or whatever it was broke, that's a learning experience for Toyota to try to make all the other trucks good. If there's issues, recalls are sent out. So like, I have more faith. It sounds bad. I have more faith for the Tacoma at launch with how it's going to do in the next couple years than how the Tundra was, if that makes sense. The Tundra did have a lot of issues, like right out of the gate and stuff, but the Tacoma, man, I mean, I have 7,000 miles on mine, not a single issue, powertrain-wise. TFL, they put 6,000 miles on theirs. The only thing that messed up with theirs was the front diff in snow with fully inflated tires. I'm not saying that they didn't know what they were doing, but even Roman said, hey, I'm not sure, this may be driver issue, right? So like, but there was a failed component at the end of the day in the truck. So the component of the truck failed. So, I mean, people will find the issues and hopefully Toyota will just make them better, man. Legion says, hey John, can you compare the seat comfort of the new 4Runner Limited to the new Land Cruiser? I definitely will, for sure. And that will be easy, kind of, because the new 4Runner Limited is basically like a Tacoma seat. So I could tell you right now, initially sitting in it, we'll see how a Land Cruiser is for like a long road trip. But sitting in the Land Cruiser is very plush. The seat is very cushiony for sure, compared to the Tacoma seat. But the Tacoma, like, it holds up pretty good. So like, my worry with the Land Cruiser is that on a road trip, the seat may be too soft to where it breaks down a little fast and it's not comfortable. So that's my only worry with the Land Cruiser. But definitely around town, holy smokes, like the Land Cruiser seat was so comfortable. Do TY Ut says, what caused the roast with you and others on Untamed's channel regarding the 4Runner review? Not sure what you mean. The 4Runner review? I don't know. Explain to me what you mean by the 4Runner review. And I'm super honest on all these live streams, so if you want to be a little bit more descriptive, because I have no idea what you mean by the roast and the 4Runner review. Corradetti says, how do you like Mark Brenner's Tacoma? What are your thoughts on that boy? Bad boy. His Tacoma's like mine. Our Tacomas are so similar, and it's just crazy because, like, even when he put the Nitop freaking turn down exhaust on his, someone in his comment section was all like, oh, I bet TRD John gets this next, and I replied to him saying, yep, it's been at my house for the last 2 weeks, but I haven't been home. So eventually, whenever he wraps his truck, like, our builds are starting to kind of like go like this a little bit now, right? Because in the beginning, there were only so many companies that had products for the trucks. But now, like, because they were super similar, color and all, right? They're super similar, but now as products are coming out for the trucks, our builds are starting to go like this. So his truck's awesome. He's using the absolute piss out of it, just like I am. I haven't seen his recent video, but the freaking thumbnail is the truck in the air. So he is using the crap out of that truck. I know he really, really enjoys it. So I'm excited to see what he has in store next for the truck. Peter says you have a 6th Gen 4Runner on the way. I haven't officially like ordered one yet because I'm not quite sure what I want, and maybe I need to make some more kind of videos or short form or like community tab questions. So like on my community tab, guys, when you see like polls and stuff, that's usually for the future of ideas that I have in my head. So today I posted one asking you guys what your kind of, I guess, second favorite color, because a lot of you guys like the underground color for Tacoma, but I was all like, hey, what color of these three do you guys like, you know? And I try not to give too much more information other than that, but this YouTube channel, while it's annoying sometimes to buy like some new vehicles, because like financially, like it's a burden for certain things, but like it also pays off because my channel grows and I gain more viewers and you guys enjoy more content and I help more people out. So like having a 4Runner right out of the gate, just it obviously makes sense, you know, for those looking to have a 4Runner. But I'm not sure what like trim level I want. I may just go tier D off-road, but I may do the hybrid or a 3-seater, or sorry, 3 rows, just because like the back of it just kind of dips down like into it just a little bit. And I really actually do like the amount of space that the batteries take up, but it's also functional because it has a bunch of storage with it too. And if you lay the seats down, it's very close to being super flat. So I do have a 4Runner on the way. I haven't officially like put down a deposit or have worked with a dealership yet or try to get one allocated because they obviously don't have allocation. But I'm leaning towards a tier D off-road. However, it would be cool to see what the Platinum is all about, and if the Platinum eventually comes with like a tier D off-road version of the Platinum. I mean, I don't think they will, but that would be really rad. And we got a star again from Drone Tech Pro. So I went to your channel just to see if you had any drone videos and stuff, but I realized that you don't post. But I appreciate it, man. As always, thank you so much for the support. And that money is going straight towards gas to get my truck to the Overland Expo next week. Next week? The week after. Next week, right? Holy crap, dude. Next week already. That's crazy, man. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And guys, if you have any comments or anything like that, if you do donate, it gets you ahead of the line because we are about 8 minutes behind on the comments. So Drone Tech Pro, thank you so much. I freaking appreciate it. Dude, he was going off on the live stream a couple weeks ago when we were going over like the Tacoma Drive event. It was freaking awesome. Blake says, thank you so much for the answer. I love the content. Pulled my Tier D Pro Tacoma deposit and got a Lunar Rock Platinum Hybrid Tundra instead for about the same price. Very crazy. Very, very crazy for sure that the Tacoma is about the same price as a certain like Tundra, you know? So there are those that really need a full-size truck, and then there's those that will spend more money on a Tacoma than they could a full-size truck just to have a mid-size truck with features, right? So it is crazy that the Tacoma Tier D Pro is 65 grand, which is just wild. And that you could get a freaking hybrid Tundra limited, which isn't the top of the line, but has a lot of good options in it for the same price too. So it just depends on what you need. Different strokes, different folks, you know. But that's good, man. I mean, the Tundra has way more space on the inside, and it's a freaking unit, man. That powertrain, that iForce Max, it is a rocket ship. It has so much power. Jacob says, how's the 25 to 4Runner when you saw it in person? I don't know if I like it or not. So the only thing that I don't love on the 4Runner, there's two things. One is the interior is the exact same as the Tacoma. Whatever. Not everyone is stupid like me and will own a Tacoma and a 4Runner. If you own one or the other, you don't care about this part. I just didn't like the fact that like when we have the Sequoia and the Tundra, I got into my SR5 Tundra, and then I got into my Sequoia Tier D Pro, and it was the same interior. I did not like that. But not everyone is, again, dumb like me and will have both vehicles, right? So that is just kind of one of those things where it may affect some people, it may not, whatever. The interior of the 4Runner is nicer, a lot more soft touch in certain areas and stuff, and it just feels a little bit more solid. Even the prototypes felt a little bit more solid than the Tacoma. And that's saying something because the Tacoma is dummy solid, very solid for the Tacoma. And the other thing that I don't love is the front end. I don't love the front end. It looks significantly better in person than it does in the photos, you know, like the double Hulk Hogan mustache. But aside from that, you still see it a little bit in person. And I don't know what they were doing really with that design. They could have made like a traditional kind of Toyota octagonal, whatever grill that they're going for, or make it more of like a kind of shark. What are they, like the new Camry, like kind of more of like that shark headed or spearheaded, whatever, shark head front end. I forget what they call it with the Camry, but just like make it a little bit more like that. I don't understand really what they were doing with, like, it kind of like starts as a first gen Sequoia, or like a second gen Sequoia up top, and then it's like a Tacoma or a Tundra grill down at the bottom. I don't know. Like, the RAV4 has a really nice front end, even though the RAV4 is getting a little old. That would have looked really good kind of on the 4Runner a little bit. Or even a front end like the Grand Highlander, but more masculine, or more, I shouldn't say masculine, but like more ruggedized, I guess, for off-road. I don't know. I'm not a designer, but the front end is the one thing that a lot of people don't like, and even me seeing it in person, it's the one thing that I don't care for the most. It kind of reminds me of the 5th gen 4Runner, right? Like, when people think of the 5th gen 4Runner, they think of what we have right now, not like 2010 to 2013. So 2010 to 2013, it was a very bold kind of front end, like very blocky and stuff. And then 2014 was a facelift, and it looked dramatically better. So I feel like that may happen with this 4Runner, like the first 3 to 4 years, maybe this, and then like the 5th year or 4th year or whatever, they're going to have some sort of a refresh, and everyone's going to be like, God dang, that's a nice looking front end. I hope. I kind of hope that that's a thing. It's weird, and people have said this, and it's kind of true. Every even year of the 4Runner is not like the forgotten one, but it's kind of just like the more meh one of the bunch, right? The 1st gen 4Runner, badass. The 2nd gen 4Runner with a 3-point slow, super heavy, sluggish, people kind of forget about it. 3rd gen came out, everyone loved it. Loves the 3rd gen. 4th gen, only thing it had going for it was the V8, right? It did not look the best until you put some money into it, lifted it up, made it look cool. But then the 5th gen everyone loves. So you get what I'm saying? Like, it's kind of like every other year, and the even years are kind of like the more, you got to do a little bit more to them to make them better, if that makes sense. Abu Becker says, when are we getting the next gen Toyota Highlander? That I feel maybe next year or the year after. There's rumblings about the RAV to be next year. I'm not sure. This year, I mean, really, all the rumors I've heard about is just the 4Runner. I'm not sure if we're really going to get anything else this year, unless they just surprise us, right? But I don't know, man. That hopefully will be next year. And then of the three, GX Land Cruiser and 4Runner, which one is your favorite? I like elements of all of them, which is kind of hard. I like the interior of the Land Cruiser the best. I like the exterior of the GX the best-ish, like the front end. And I love the rear. I love like the first door back of the 4Runner, and the powertrain that the 4Runner and Land Cruiser have. Not that the V6 and the GX is bad, because it's like the same as the one in the Tundra, but I feel like they nerfed it just kind of quite a bit, and it's a little bit not sluggish, but I don't know, the turbo lag and everything. I'm not sure. The GX just doesn't feel as punchy as my Tundra after I drove it back to back from the Land Cruiser in California, and then that GX that Jeff Westcott had at his shop. But with this, sorry, Drone Tech Pro, you sent a donation, but for some reason the comment was off of the donation. You said that you'll see me at Overland Expo and missed the start, John. Good to see you. Good to see you as well. Definitely come and introduce yourself at the GX booth, and let me know your YouTube name because I don't know your first name, and then I will definitely thank you, man, for all the donations. Thank you so freaking much, dude. Mr. Khan says, hey, John, as a 21 4Runner TRD off-road owner, do ho? Is there more to that, Mr. Khan? But what's up? Ryan says, when do you think that we will switch from 24 to 25 model year of Tacoma? Just saw blue crushed metallic. All I see is purple. It does have kind of like a like a blurple to it, no? Or like a blue purple kind of hue, depending on the light for sure. I would say probably November timeframe they would switch it over. I feel like that's usually when the trucks switch over, so probably around November timeframe I would want to say. Omar also says Honda Pilot or Grand Highlander. Bro, I'm going Highlander every time. I don't like the design really of the Honda Pilot. It's a little too bubbly for me if I'm thinking of the right one. Here we go. Mr. Khan is saying that is it worth, must have pressed enter a little too early. Is it worth spending the extra cash on upgrading to a 6th gen 4Runner, or just save the money and stick with what I have? Stick with what you have, man. There's so the fifth gen is tried and true. It's proven. It's gonna last a while. And like you said, for yours, it's a 2021. So you have the CarPlay, you have as updated as the vehicle will get for the 5th gen platform, aside from the heated steering wheel, right? So aside from that, you have the most updated 5th gen 4Runner out there, which does mean that those 2020s and up, right, because of the Apple CarPlay and some of the other added features that there is, those will be worth a little bit more than like mine. Well, mine's a TRD Pro, that's a bad example, but like 4Runners without that, because it has the most of the tech, but it's still the most reliable and everything too. So I don't, if you don't want to spend the money, I honestly don't see why anyone would need to rush to get a new 4Runner. Now, if your vehicle quits on you, or you unfortunately get in an accident or something, and like insurance cuts you a check and you need a new vehicle, then yeah, I would probably opt to try to get a 6th gen, because the drivetrain way better, the interior bit more updated and stuff, and the gas mileage alone for the new 4Runner, like if that thing's anything like the Land Cruiser, maybe a little bit better because it's more sleek looking, dude, that thing may get like 25, 26, 27 maybe on the highway. That's way better than the 5th gen 4Runner for sure. Sonny says, will the new 4Runner turbo non-hybrid engine be a full copy of the Tacoma in terms of parts that will be available? So the interior of the engine bay looks the exact same. So I'm curious if there's any different mounting solutions and stuff for that. But it should be pretty dang close. So like if an intake comes out for the Tacoma, I have a strong feeling that it would work for the 4Runner as well. Aside from that, like a lot of the other off-road bits like sliders and roof rack, obviously those are going to be different. But the tires, wheels, tires, all those should bolt up. A lot of the stuff with the new TNGF platform is very, very similar. It's very, very similar to a lot of these vehicles. HT says, do you like the mud bath color? I do like the mud bath color. I like it more than quicksand. It has like a little flake to it. I feel like it looks pretty good. Marty Vision, bro. Thoughts on the Tom Brady roast, the Kim Kardashian kept her legs closed comment, bro. So I haven't watched the whole thing. I have not watched the whole thing, and I really want to. All the clips that I've been seeing on like short form content and stuff has all been just gas. It's been so good. Tony Hinchcliffe, his stuff alone, I was rolling. I forget the girl's name, Nikki something. Her stuff that I saw was just hilarious too. What's the one dude's name? It's not Andy. Andy. Anyways, dude, everything has gotten so good that now I need to like swipe past those when I see them, just because I don't want the whole stand-up to be ruined for me, or not stand-up, but the whole roast to be ruined for me, because I watched like all the just banger highlights. But holy crap, even Tom Brady's bit too was just hilarious. So I can't wait to watch it, man. And good on Netflix, right? Not to get all political and stuff, but like good on Netflix for like actually allowing legitimate comedy back. Like we need comedy more than ever. It doesn't matter who you are, what you are. Like if we can just joke and have fun, and hey, that was a joke, that's hilarious, like whatever. That is literally what we need right now. And that would like good on Netflix for actually freaking allowing that on their platform. That was so good. So yeah, I can't wait to freaking watch it, dude. All the highlights that I've seen so far have just been stupid. They've been so good. Jeremy, what is up, man? Tiger says, what's up? They should have mimicked the Sequoia slash Tacoma slash Tundra more with the front end. Yeah, I'm just kind of not sure what was going on there. Like, it has bits of older Sequoia to it, like the top of it. And it really does have a blend of all Forerunners. Like, if you look at a second gen Forerunner and like a third gen Forerunner, even they kind of have like a little double mustache thing going on. So I don't know. It's just, you really have to look into it to just pick and choose like what parts of each. But it would have been cool if it was literally like a Sequoia and just like miniaturized and then like a Forerunner back, honestly, because the Sequoia looks pretty good up front. The Forerunner is still made in Japan, and Tiger got you there for sure. Andito, how's it going? Everyone's going. All right, so Agent says, sorry I missed you at Jambo. All good. So this question, do TY says, for some drama, I guess, with Untamed, says basically everyone is saying you, TFL, and others are biased fanboys to Toyota regardless of what they do with the 4-cylinder turbo and hybrids, and not informing people the potential longevity issues. So my thing's this: everyone can do their own research. I don't have to be a fanboy to show a new vehicle. So the thing that's hard with the Toyota culture is that it's very it's not cult-ish, but like Toyota people like their stuff the way it is, right? And Toyota people are always like a generation behind. So when the third gen Tacoma came out with the new 3.5 V6 and the Atkinson cycle engine and stuff, I was not in the YouTube space, but everyone like was kind of not about it. They're like, oh, they should have kept the 4.0. It's blah, blah, blah. It's a different type of engine. It's horrible. It's this, it's that, it's this, it's that. And now that the new Tacoma comes out, everyone's like, I'm keeping my third gen. It was the best. So like everyone is like a generation behind, right? My biggest thing is like, I don't make rant videos. Like I talk about stuff in certain videos, but like I don't make rant videos like about something if it bothers me. Like even my Tundra, like I made a whole documented kind of video and with solutions and everything and what I try to do for the windows that were like just poor quality from Toyota in the first place. So like I made that video being upset, but also trying to provide the solution and like actions that I took to try to fix it. So for the new powertrains, like the new powertrains are the new like powertrains, whether you like it or not. Like it is what it is. Like all these manufacturers, not just Toyota, all these manufacturers have to abide by like the new CAFE standards, the bullcrap stuff that the government sends down to regulate these vehicles for emissions. And it sucks, right? Even Ram, like the gung-ho, yo, let's put a freaking Hellcat engine into a freaking Durango, even they have gotten rid of the V8 in lieu of a turbocharged 6-cylinder, right? So it's just crazy. All the companies have to do it. If anyone's going to do it right, it'll be Toyota. And at the end of the day, I own one of the new vehicles, and it blows my 4Runner out of the water and my 2 Tacomas, because like I've had Tacomas in the past, so I can say this, right, about the old Tacomas. It blows those powertrains out of the water. So I don't care if it's a 4-cylinder turbo. While I have it and while I use it, and yes, I do cycle vehicles quickly, but while I have it, it is great, right? And now, on the flip side of that, for those that want to own a vehicle for longer, if the turbo goes out in the future, or if the battery pack goes out, which is a 10-year, 100,000-mile warranty, if those go out in the future, hopefully your vehicle is paid off, right? At 10-year mark, 12-year mark, something like that, you haven't had a car payment for 6-7 years. So if you have to spend $1,000 on a turbo, that's only like 2 months worth of what a car payment was, right? The whole reason why Toyota uses the nickel metal hydride batteries is they are significantly cheaper and recyclable versus lithium ion for if those battery packs go in the future. They are significantly cheaper for the new owners or the current owners of stuff. So I don't get into a fuss with the 4-cylinders because like at the end of the day, they're making more power, they're making more torque, and they're getting a little bit better of gas mileage than the outgoing engine, and they drive significantly better. So like me personally, I don't feel a reason to like be upset about it. You know, if people are worried that 4 is smaller than 6, then guess what? 317 foot-pounds is more than 270 whatever foot-pounds of torque that the outgoing one had. And same with the hybrids, 465. You know, like if people are really worried about numbers and stuff. But I hope you're still in here. Do TY to answer that, because I am 10 minutes behind on questions. So I hope you're still in here. Not sure. I don't read other people's comments and stuff really that much. Sometimes I do if like I'm interested in the video, but I don't know if what they're talking about in that one. If people are talking shit behind my back, then hey, all on them for being keyboard warriors and doing that on someone else's page, right? Agent says the 4-cylinder engine has been used for a few years now. Yeah, and then this is a thing too, is like the core of that 4-cylinder has been used for a while in Lexus products and stuff, and they made it a bit better for truck platforms. So I believe in my video with Craig, he was saying, he's a powertrain engineer for Toyota, he's saying that 53 to 54%, I think, of that engine is like the core of it is what is used in the other vehicles, and then the rest of the engine is just beefed up for truck duty, different turbos, different internals, different fuel rails and stuff, for it to be a good performing truck. Thomas says, genuinely appreciate all you do, John. I appreciate you freaking watching, Thomas. I know how much work it is. Long-time subscriber, and I've learned a lot. Looking forward to the future. Heck yeah. That is crazy. He says that Kill Tony was hilarious. Yeah. Oh, Schultz. Yeah, Andrew Schultz. Andrew Schultz. Thank you. I knew it started with an A. That his stuff was hilarious too. The Gronkowski, Edelman, and whatever, how it sounds like a law firm, and then he like spun Dana White, and that's when I knew I had to like stop watching highlights, because I was like, dude, this thing is off the rails. But Thomas, I appreciate it, man. I mean, from the outside looking in, it doesn't look like that much, right? Like it's just like, oh, the dude just records some videos, throws it up on the internet, buys a couple of vehicles, calls it a day. And in the grand scheme of things, that's all it is. But like the constant creativity, trying to move vehicles around, and especially too now, like with this Tacoma, like trying to work with companies for it, logistically keep the truck in certain spots. I live in Florida, paying like for my flights to go out to places, paying for all the gas. I mean, guys, like not that I need to, I don't need pity, I don't, but just like what people don't see is like the whole trip from Florida to the West Coast and everything that I did, from hotels and gas and food and everything. I mean, it was probably, make sure my wife's not listening, it was probably like close to $4,000, like maybe even $5,000, something like that. So like I have to make sure that I make the content to hopefully offset that. We grew a lot of subscribers and stuff too with that. And then of course Anchor wanted to do a deal with me, and I use Anchor products all the time. Like this right here is literally an Anchor plug. I have more Anchor stuff plugged in right here. So like I use Anchor products, and I was like, yeah, if you guys want to sponsor a video, a segment of a video, and give my viewers an insane discount on this product, that's a no-brainer. So that helped pay for some of the gas. It helped pay for some of the hotels and stuff that I stayed at. So I mean, it's just, I don't know. You're moving a lot of stuff around all the time. A lot of people don't see all of that, but those that do realize like what content creators do, like I appreciate it. And like after doing this for several years, like I have a lot of respect for a lot of content creators, like especially the ones that are crushing it, dude. They're just like freaking next level, which is awesome. Are the seats in the limited leather or soft tech? I believe all the Forerunners and Tacomas, maybe the Platinum will have leather, but I believe it's all, all soft tech seats. If you're talking about the Forerunner. Bad Friends, Schultz, Tom, Burt, Harlan, Williams, not even scratching the surface. Yeah, that's we're trying to watch that Fallout show. We don't watch that much TV, but we're trying to finish the Fallout show before I leave. But I would love to throw this in the mix. But I think it was like, what, a 3-hour special or something like that? I don't even know. And guys, if you are popping in, we're not too far behind on questions. There's only a couple questions, which is nice. But if you're still in here, I am like 9 minutes behind. But we don't have that many questions. MJ, what is up? How's it going? And Drone Tech, I did see that your name is Paul, so I will hang out with you at Overland Expo, man. Hopefully I don't miss you. I will be posting on Instagram and maybe over here on the community page too, once I solidify times with GFC, what time I will be at their booth and stuff. So we're going to have an F-150 at their booth, a Jeep, I believe a Rubicon, is that what the trucks are called? And no, Gladiator, Jeep Gladiator, and my Tacoma. Will be 3 trucks at GFC's booth, which will be freaking rad. JB says, greetings, have you seen any Toyota extra cabs in the wild yet? I've searched for at least 10 dealer inventories, and everything I see is double cab. So dude, these were supposed to be out in March, and we're in May. So I'm not sure what or maybe it was May, but I'm pretty sure like the initial dealership things for the extra cabs were March. But an extra cab build is definitely something I would love to do in the future. A Tacoma pre-runner. So I'm originally from the West Coast, guys, and pre-runners are everything out there. People from the East Coast, northern areas of the United States, they don't really have an idea of like what a pre-runner is. I would love to do a Tacoma extra cab pre-runner and build it to a legit pre-runner with like 34, 35 inch tires, something like that, fully glassed up, like fiberglass front, fiberglass rears, long travel suspension, and just have a blast with that truck out in the desert. I think that would be such a cool, fun build to do, and like link up with like ADS suspension, like people that know what the heck that they're doing for like a fast Baja style truck. I think that would be so freaking rad. Cordetti says, with the complexity of the new power plants, it's more of a question of lack of maintenance rather than poor quality in engineering. So you could offset durability concern with proper care. 100%. And like that's said with like a lot of things, right? I mean, people back in the day hated on Ford for a while, like with their Triton engines and stuff, like the 5.4, which it wasn't the best, or the 4.6, which was actually a lot better. And like my brother, he had a truck that had like over 300,000 miles on it. Granted, it needed some stuff here and there, right? But like it was still like a good truck at the end of the day. My parents' Suburban, they had almost 300,000 miles on it, right? But we took care of it. And you know, there's some people that buy brand new vehicles and they're just duds right out of the gate. A battery pack is about 6,000 to replace. I didn't think that it was that much. I thought it was in the threes. I mean, probably in 10, 15 years with inflation, sure, it will be around 6,000. I don't know if they have a price on it yet, though, because I don't obviously think that they've had any to replace. But maybe if it's 6,000, then yeah, that's a big hit. But hopefully it's after 10, 15, 20 years or something like that if the battery goes out. And like the cool thing is, at the end of the day, is I mean, depending on the computers and stuff, if like the batteries are bad, it's still a mechanical hybrid system at the end of the day. So I feel like your engine will still power through it. I don't feel like the electronic generator would mess up if the batteries weren't there. So maybe, you know, if the batteries fail in the future and you don't have the means to replace them, it's still a mechanical hybrid system. So I'm curious if you could get by. That would be such a good question to ask an engineer. I'm curious if you could get by with just the mechanical system just kind of running through the generator without the hybrid assist, because it's not like the hybrid cars, right, to where the batteries are actually powering part of, well, it's powering part of it, but it's still all mechanical and in line anyway. So I'm actually curious about that. Tiger says, how do you feel the rear seat legroom and cargo spaces? In your unbiased opinion, do you feel the legroom would take a hit? Would you choose a GX 550 over the 6th gen? Everyone in my family is tall. Well, the one thing I would say then is GX no matter what, because the cabin of the GX is taller than the 4Runner. Like just sitting in it, it's a taller vehicle. That and the Land Cruiser. Cargo space is probably a little bit less, I would say, than the 5th gen 4Runner, just because, like, well, for those that have the battery packs in them, because they do sit up a little bit. The ones that don't have battery packs, I feel like it's the same as the 5th gen 4Runner, maybe a little bit more than the 5th gen. So I don't know. It stinks because we don't have actual interior dimensions right now. We only have exterior dimensions of the new 4Runner, which is bigger than the 5th gen is by several inches in almost every direction. So it would be hard to say that the interior was a little bit smaller. But again, we don't have the actual dimensions of the interior. It didn't feel cramped to me. It felt fine. But if your family's tall, dude, 100% I would just go with the GX anyways, just because it's a lot taller of a vehicle, either that or the new Land Cruiser. I don't mind the new Tacoma, just need to agree with the price. So, and the crazy thing is with the price is, unfortunately, a lot of people are just seeing the very expensive ones, right? Because that's what people are showcasing. Like, I could have easily gotten a $40,000 just bare level TRD off-road, which I almost did just because like mine that I had on order wasn't coming in. So I almost went with just a normal like $42,000 Tacoma, which isn't that bad considering like what you get. And a lot of the last gen Tacomas were around 41 to 48,000 depending on like how many options and stuff that you got. Obviously there were a lot more options in the $30,000 range. But yeah, I mean, 65 grand for a TRD Pro, that's dummy. That's stupid. That's so expensive, right? But not everyone is going to be buying a TRD Pro. That's what I just can't understand sometimes in the comment section where they're like, oh, they lost me as a customer. That's way too crazy, 65 grand. It's like, okay, they have other ones that start at 32, bro. So, like, they literally have some at half the price. So, and it's half the truck, like with half the off-road gear and everything too. So, I mean, it just depends, and that's not me defending the price. The price is stupid. Like 65 grand is just way up there, just way up there. So especially when the Ranger Raptor, right? Again, less standard features than what the Tacoma has, but Toyota's forcing you into those standard features because that's all they build the freaking TRD Pro with. So the Ranger Raptor does have less features, right? But at the same time, if you're just buying that truck to off-road it and have a badass truck, then you saved 8 grand, right? With that, even the Chevy ZR2, way cheaper. The only one that is on par with the Tacoma TRD Pro pricing is the Bison, I think, or the AEV or whatever one that is, which I think is more, or maybe like right there at the same price. And I think this Canyon AT4X, just because GMC is always a little bit more expensive than the Colorado is. So like those ones are around the same price as the TRD Pro, which is still just crazy. Like I like the Tacoma TRD Pro because I've driven it in like its element that it's supposed to be driven at. But like unless I had property in Arizona and I always just went out to the desert with that truck to just enjoy it at its full potential, I don't see the daily, the family, just the everyday utility of that truck. I really don't. It's just really built as a specific off-road go fast truck. No rear seat space because of those ISO seats. The suspension and everything, the bigger tires, like it's just meant to be off-road. It's truly meant to be off-road, which is what a Pro is, like a TRD Pro. Like that's what the TRD Pro should have been forever. Like just a hardcore off-roader. The Raptor does do a little bit better of a blend to where you could still have a nice interior of a truck and like the F-150 Raptor. I think the Ranger Raptor interior is pretty poor, honestly, from what I've seen. But like it still gives you the best of both. Like you can still haul your family around. If you want to pull off on a dirt road and act buck wild with the Raptor, then you can. The TRD Pro Tacoma was like really made to just be off-road. And I'm super happy that the 4Runner doesn't have the ISO seats and everything, and it's more of like a nice blend. But it still has the crazy suspension and everything. So I don't know. I was kind of like, if everything went the way it was supposed to go, I was gonna have my TRD off-road in December, and then I was gonna have a TRD Pro in like August. And I don't think that I'm gonna pull the trigger on a Tacoma TRD Pro. Like it's dope. I mean, eventually, maybe in the future, right? But like, I don't know. I don't know. But anyways, back to your comment. The cool thing is right now is like we are getting back to the time where car lots had cars, and people are like freaking out like the market is crashing, which it is crashing from the crazy inflated market that it was. So it's crashing down to like where it kind of was pre-shortage times, if that makes sense. Maybe a little bit worse just because money is a bit tighter for people. So it may be a little bit worse than pre-shortage times. But like before that, dude, when I went to my local dealership, there were always like 10, 15 third gens on the lot, you know, Tacomas. And there was probably 10-ish Tundras. Like they never made that many Tundras, but there was always at every time about 10, 15, maybe even like 20 Tacomas on the lot. And now people are freaking out that there's like 5 to 10 on lots. It's like they're just trying to get back up to their numbers. But the cool thing is with that is that you can negotiate now, right? If there's a lot of vehicles on the lot, stop going in there. What's MSRP? F that, dude. Go 5, go 10 under MSRP. Because guess what? If the dealership is now selling those trucks, they're going to get replenished with those trucks. They're going to get more incentives from Toyota to be like, holy crap, your dealership sold all these trucks. What is this other dealership doing that's still asking $5,000 over MSRP like it's freaking 2 years ago because they're stupid? Like this dealership selling trucks, we want to work with them, send them a bunch of vehicles, right? They get more in allocation, they get more vehicles. It helps those dealerships out. So the fact that you don't agree on the price, now the leverage is in our hands, right? Like it sucks that I got a Tier D Pro or a Tier D off-road Tacoma at MSRP, but guess what? There was like 3 in the nation at that time when I just kept calling and calling and calling to find one available. There were like 3. That's it, right? Now there's thousands probably out there. Maybe not thousands of Tier D off-roads, but there's thousands of Tacomas that are available. So you can get them for under MSRP now for sure. I feel like if you're paying at MSRP for a new Tacoma, either that dealership was just super stubborn or you live in a very small area. But I don't think that you negotiated hard enough. If you were getting a Tacoma like at MSRP right now, just like a normal SR5 or like a normal SR or like a non-optioned like Tier D off-road, like I feel like the less desired trims, if that makes sense, should be going up for under MSRP right now. That's just how I feel like things should be right now, just with how many are out there. If you're thinking about changing the color of your truck or buying another one, I don't think that oxide is the best. Octane would definitely be better for you and clicks, which is why I wanted, oh crap, can we see it? You see it? There's the caricature. So that was from the dealership that I was going to be buying the Tacoma from back when I was supposed to get that solar octane from Danville Toyota. They made that caricature and everything. Oh, I felt so bad. But the solar octane, that was my whole thought process of it, was that it would pop in thumbnails. It would look really good in thumbnails, but it's just so hard to capture in photos, that color. But bronze oxide for me, I really like bronze oxide, and it's new to the Tacoma platform, just like Underground was new. Solar Octane was on the Tier D Pro last year, and we've seen a lot of the Solar Octane. I'm not thinking about changing my color of my Tacoma. I will just leave that at that, and you detectives can do your own doings with whatever rumors you guys want to think of, and go talk about how John's crazy on his live stream. Have Land Cruisers hit your dealerships yet? Not mine locally. I've not seen any locally. The thing that is frustrating me about the Land Cruiser, though, is that 1958s are starting to hit the dealerships. And for those that have like a first edition coming, kind of stinks, because those may have thought that, hey, for the first 5,000 units, it would only be first editions. And now 1958s for people that just randomly went to dealerships with no 1958s, like really not allocated, but like claimed, like they're just getting vehicles, like just randos walking onto the dealerships and be like, yo, I found a 58 today and I bought it. Like, what the heck? So that's a little bit frustrating, but I have not seen any in my local area yet, nor have I seen on their Facebook pages. Do you have any key fob covers? I do not, DK. I had the AJT on other stuff, but I don't have any key fob covers. Key fob, let me drink my water, covers. Thomas, I appreciate you. If you guys could hit that like button, you guys would be absolutely awesome. Needs 5 to 6 hours to discharge the system to remove the battery. Dang. I mean, that makes sense. It's so many volts and everything just going through there and just so charged up. Have you heard of any tuner talk? Definitely have heard of tuner talk going on. Just from, yeah, like there will be an OTT kind of a tune for it going on. JB tunes or JB4 tuning, they're going to do stuff. AFE, who I've worked with in the past, they do their Scorcher thing. They will have like a piggyback tune coming for it as well. Cordetti says that I drive a Mitsubishi with the original battery pack. It still has 85% of battery life left after 12 years, and I still almost get the same gas mileage that I did, and the quality and the batteries are good. So that'd be good too, man. I mean, I don't know. I mean, the Priuses, like from the 1998s and early 2000s, are like finally needing new battery packs, right? And that's like 25 years later. So, and those are like very early battery pack technology too. So I don't know, man. I feel like they're gonna last a while. Bo says, great work, John, with all the content. Which would you take, TRD Pro Tacoma or the new Ranger Raptor? So if money was not an option, I would do the Tacoma, just because I've driven it, I like it. I obviously have a Toyota YouTube channel, and it would just be better content for me, I guess. And I don't have a family that needs to sit in the back seat. And I personally like the way the Tacoma TRD Pro looks over the Ranger. Now, if it's money-wise, then I would probably do a Ranger Raptor, I guess. But I just don't care for the interior of the Ranger. At least the one that I sat in at the LA Auto Show last year just felt cheap. Which, I mean, the Tacoma, I guess, feels cheap too in its own way. But, like, the vinyl seats that Ranger or that Ford used for the Ranger literally felt like a school bus. Maybe the full-on production model is significantly better. I'm not 100% sure. And you can't say reliability is worse because like all brands are starting to get decent. Brands have their own flaws in every way, but I've just never been a fan, I guess, of Ranger back in the United States. It's always like we get the leftovers from Australia with the Ranger, and it's just like a little bit more modern for the American market. I just don't like how Ranger is always like second here in the United States. But the fact that the Raptor is here is pretty dope. I like that engine. It sounds really good. The live valve shocks are better than the QS3 shocks on the Tacoma, right? But yeah, I don't know. That one would be hard. I would like to drive them both back to back if that's even possible on the same course, just to see how each one handles and how it does in its own off-road environment. What premium do you predict the first edition Land Cruiser will sell for at both dealers and auction sites? So this is kind of hard because there's a lot of dealers that are selling them at MSRP, and there's a lot of dealers that are trying to charge for 20 grand over. But the fact, like I had just mentioned, that 58s and other Land Cruisers are available before the first edition right now kind of sucks. So I don't know. I feel like they're going to be around MSRP. I have a weird gut feeling that they're going to start being under MSRP. But I don't know. Just because the price for first editions, it's high. It's pretty high. But then again, the Heritage Edition Land Cruisers, they freaking held their value and went up like crazy. So I don't know. It's a new platform. At the end of the day, it's a Prado here in the United States. So like, it's not a 300 series, it's a 250 series. So like, it's a Land Cruiser to us in the United States, but like, it's not a Land Cruiser. That's a bad way to say it. It's not like the Land Cruiser, but you can't really say the Land Cruiser anymore because there's so many of them. There's the Prado, there's the 70 series that's still for sale, right? There's the 300 series, and Toyota is kind of hinting at other Land Cruiser models coming. So like Land Cruiser is literally turning into, which it kind of has been in the past, but like just like a nameplate and then they're gonna have sub models under that. So it's gonna be a weird time for Land Cruiser. I don't know. D says, how many miles are on your current 4Runner? 41,800 or something like that. Almost 42,000 miles on my 2018 TRD Pro 4Runner. Could you add hood struts to the 4Runner? I hope that we are able to do hood struts, because that freaking prop rod is not the answer. It's annoying. It's annoying that we went backwards with that with Toyota with the 4Runner. My 23 has only 6,500 miles, 7K already. Dang. I mean, yeah, man. Bought it in Kentucky, drove down to Florida, drove all the way to Arizona, then to California, then back to Arizona, then north to Utah, then to Vegas, then back to Arizona, then to Texas, then to North Texas, back down to Dallas. Very close to 7,000 miles. Now I'm driving it back to California, then to Arizona, then to Northern California. I don't even know. Maybe at that point I'll just sell it in Northern California, because maybe somebody will pay like what the truck is worth in Northern California. But I plan to keep that truck for a while. Tacoma Trail Hunter here in Canada is 86K. I'm not sure, Cordetti, what our ratio is yet from our currency to yours, but that number is bigger than 62 or whatever it's supposed to be here. That's wild. If you don't already know, Toyota finally updated the Tacoma build feature on their site. I did see that. Thank you, JB. I did. I saw that a little bit ago, but thank you for that. That's good. What feature did you get that you wished? What feature did you not get that you wish you had gotten? Michael, if we are still talking about the Tacoma, nothing. Honestly, at this point, because the one that I was waiting on to come in that the dealership had allocated, it had a sway bar disconnect. And of all the off-roading I've done with my Tacoma, and I've done a lot, I've gotten a lot better at seat time and just comfortable off-roading with that truck, and just like off-roading in general in the last couple months with that. Like I'm no professional like by any means, but I have gotten so much more comfortable off-roading that it's been really awesome. And not once did I want to reach down and touch a sway bar disconnect with that Tacoma. I mean, maybe it would have been a little bit easier for certain things, but there was not one time where I was like, oh, I wish I had that. So aside from that, my Tacoma, it has every feature. So what feature did you not get that you wish you had gotten? Yeah, so there's nothing. There's honestly nothing. Maybe now that there's a roof rack on the Tacoma, which I may be taking off, maybe I wish I didn't have the moonroof, but like it's all part of the package anyways of all the other stuff that I wanted. So like, yeah, I think I'll just answer it the flip way of what feature did I not get that I'm okay that I didn't have, and I guess that would be the sway bar disconnect. Did you put a screen protector on your screen? I did not yet for the Tacoma. I have it here at the house. I was an idiot and forgot to take it back out with me to California when I flew back out there for the 4Runner event. But I do have it for the Tacoma, and I'll do like a quick short form video or something like that for it. But yes, I do have a screen protector for the Tacoma finally. And last couple of questions, guys. It'll be a little bit of a fast live stream tonight, even though it's been an hour and 15 minutes. We usually go like 2 hours on the live streams, but I definitely want to get back out to the family. We're cooking dog food right now, so I think I have Blackstone duties, unless my wife already did it. I'm not 100% sure. But do you know where and how I can get my fenders colored matched on my 24 Tundra? Look for a body shop near you, because if you want them color matched, like painted, they're going to have to probably sand it down if it's textured or anything like that. You could take it to a wrap shop. They may be able to wrap it. I would just look in your general area, one for a like a collision center or a paint shop, or two for a wrap shop. Those are probably the two easiest ways that you could go about paint matching your Tundra's fenders. Kyle says, thanks, John, for all the info. Did you get a chance to drive a Hybrid Max off-road? And if so, how did it compare to the gas-only model with the bigger tires? So I did have a chance to drive the iForce Max Tacoma at the drive event on-road, and it had about 33-inch tires on it. So keep that in mind. A TRD off-road with the iForce Max engine, it has about 33-inch tires, and my truck has 33.8-inch tires. They're a little bit heavier, but they're almost the same size tires. Day-to-day driving, I feel like with the iForce Max engine, you're not going to notice a whole lot. It's really the passing power if you're climbing up grades and stuff while you're driving. That's where I feel like you feel the most benefit with the truck. So like there were times where I felt like I was just in a normal Tacoma like mine, but like if I passed someone on the highway, I was like, oh, okay, this one has a little bit more spunk to it. AJ says, I got a 23 Tundra Capstone, but I wish I had gotten a Tier D Pro since the Capstone is not holding their value. The dealers are discounting them significantly. So that's the hard thing, man, with very primo expensive trucks, or any, not just Toyota, but like any brand. Luxury vehicles lose their value the fastest, for sure. Luxury vehicles lose their value the fastest. I mean, you could get a 5-year-old Mercedes, right, for like 20 grand less than what it was new, maybe even more than that. Same with like BMW, depending on the brand, or not the brand, but the model of the car, right? Like M cars will hold their values more. Tier D Pro, it always holds its value, no matter if it's Sequoia, Tundra, 4Runner, Tacoma. They hold their values decently well. All the other trims, they seem to go down a bit more. And then, yeah, unfortunately, a Capstone, man, like, it's an expensive truck, and it goes down. I mean, I'm scared even when I sell my Platinum here soon. Like, I don't want to sell it. Like, I really hope something happens and I find like a carton of gold or whatever in the backyard. But like, even Platinums right now, like I'm probably, well, I put a good down payment on that truck, so I'm not like under, but like what I'm coming out on with that truck, I mean, I'm probably going to lose like, I don't know, maybe 5, 10 in value from like what I bought it for to where it's at now. So it sucks. Like, thank God for YouTube, right? Like the reason I bought that truck was to monetize it and show you guys stuff with it. So like the videos have helped offset that a little bit. And we've used it for like a lot of real estate stuff too. So like the truck has definitely done its purpose. It's just, again, to get back to that, like we're getting back to the times now where you buy a vehicle, the price goes down, like you lose value. And that's what vehicles have been for decades, right? We just somehow in the last 3 years got so fixated on like, I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to drive it, it's not going to lose its value, and I'm golden. Like, we're getting back to the times where you drive off the dealer lot, it drops $5,000. That's what happened for forever. And unfortunately, premium, expensive vehicles, they do lose their value a little bit faster, unfortunately. No Name says, do you think that a new Tacoma will last more than the previous generation? That's hard, man. That's hard to tell. It's hard to tell. I don't even know how to answer that one. Just, it's got to prove itself. It has big shoes to fill with the 3rd gen, with the 2nd gen, even the 1st gen. Like, there are 1st gens still rocking it out there with 4-cylinder engines, by the way. We just now have forced induction with these new ones. But I mean, if the last gens are anything to talk about, then yeah, sure. I think that it'll last just as good as previous generations. And if not, then we're in a time where Toyota reliability is no longer what's the right word that I should say? It's no longer ammo in Toyota's arsenal with their reliability, right? If they start making vehicles that fail, then what's the difference between them and Ford and Dodge and Chrysler and Chevy? Nothing. So that's the only thing Toyota still has somehow going for them from when they first came here to the United States, and their cars were just so reliable, right? So hopefully they don't slip. They've had decades of being on top. Hopefully they don't slip. Cordetti says that in the next week, I'm going to do a Tier D front skid plate install video on my SR. After that, I plan to do some off-roading and showcase the base model out in the wild. I just want to see what the base can do. So if you guys are looking for any Tundra content, specifically the SR Tundra, very affordable, you guys could go over to Cordetti's page. He's been a member supporting the channel for a while. I appreciate that, man. And he is right here on the screen. Not sure if you guys can click him or click him over there on the side page, but he will be off-roading his SR, which is awesome. Hellboy says, hope to meet you next time. Dude, definitely come up if you ever see me. It's kind of crazy at events and stuff. Like, I was trying to go to the bathroom, and like before I had to leave from Gilmer, Texas to just jet down to Dallas to fly out. And the dude's like, are you John? It's like, yeah. He's like, oh, I watch your videos. And like, so there I am, like trying to go to the bathroom. And I talked to a fan, which is crazy. And I'm so thankful for that. So just come on up and say what's up. Wixman says, the same people complaining about spending 1 to 2K on a new turbo after 15 years will drop 10K on a new. Exactly. Yeah, without even batting an eye. Got to make the truck look super awesome, right? And perform well too. But guys, that is it. I am all caught up on the questions. I'm just going to cut it right here. I appreciate you all watching. Again, if you guys are going to the Overland Expo West in Flagstaff, Arizona, my truck will be at the GFC booth. I'm not exactly sure what number booth that they are. And I will be setting aside some time to just meet up with people that want to come out and say what's up at their booth. So not sure if it's going to be like 1 to 3 or like 12 to 2 or something like that, but we will have just some time set aside to just, if you're walking by, like I will be guaranteed at the booth instead of like mingling and walking around. And then I'll also be at Toyota's Fireside Chat. So Toyota should have the new 4Runner out at the Overland Expo if you guys are going there. Obviously the Tacomas and stuff, most likely Land Cruisers and whatnot too. So it'll be a really fun time at their spot. They're going to have like a whole fireside chat thing where people are going to ask them. I think it will be like more of a live Q&A this time, I think I was told. So like people can ask them questions about things and everything at the chat. And usually at those fireside chats, Toyota provides like tacos and all that other stuff. So if you guys are looking for some free food while at the Overland Expo, they will definitely hook it up. But guys, appreciate you all coming out. Kyle, Cordetti, everyone, just for hanging out in the comment section. Drone Tech, if you're still in here, bro, thank you again so much for the donation. I truly, truly, truly freaking appreciate it. You guys don't have to do this, but it means a lot when you guys do. So thank you so much. Guys, have a great rest of your week, and I will catch you all in the next one. All right, see you later.